Cognitive.com. Just wait. Cognitive. Wrong profile. I would like to switch the profile. A. Oh, no, it goes to this one? Okay. Alright, anyway. I am Adrian Root, and as you all know, I don't live with my brother, so this is me. And I just thought we might have a little bit of a summer recap. So, as you all know, we were, for the month of June, I think it was, we were recording together. Our first one was Roach Brothers Alive. And so, at the beginning of July, I came back home, and we got prepared to head out towards Arizona. Which, I mean, I can't remember how damn long it took, but it took 2 damn days to get all the way over there. But, so first stop was, of course, Arizona, official stop. So we stopped in our land, 45 acres in Arizona, near a little town of St. John's, which, I mean, isn't bad, but sorry about that. But, in the little town of Arizona, St. John's, Arizona, it's not bad. It could be better. I'm not gonna lie. But, I mean, I can't really complain. Let's just switch this network issue. Keep on streaming. In 4G. Besides that, St. John's, Arizona isn't bad. It could be better. It's a small little town. They didn't really do much for 4th of July, which I guess is fine. That's about all I have to say about that. Yeah. Anyway, where the hell was I? Y'all are getting me distracted. I'm about to have to close down the chat. So we stayed on our 45 acres at Arizona. It wasn't too bad, of course. Really desolate. Alright, I'm just gonna go day by day. It's about the best I can do. How to do this? First day, we set up camp, of course. Desolate ass desert. middle of bumfuck nowhere, which I mean is exactly how my parents want it. They're gonna be moving out there 2, 3 years from now, possibly. Hell if I know. I mean, I do know, I just don't remember right now. I need more coffee. The winds were actually a lot more fierce than I expected them to be. I think it collapsed our tents a few times. I mean, one of the days we came back. But, I mean, it's not bad. You kind of get used to the cattle after 2 nights. I can't remember everything we did. Memory isn't that good. Should be. I don't know. I need more coffee, like I said. But, one of the... I think the second day we were there, this person who walked on our land, I mean, first we just freaked the fuck out because there was a dog right behind our tent coming out of the little mountain we have at the rear end of our property, or the beginning, depending on where you drive in at. So Dad was about to grab the damn gun because we thought it was a stray dog. We didn't really want to risk anything. And then we found out immediately that it was somebody else's dog. And they were also walking on the property, and it tried to come and tell us where our property lines were. Dad just about lost his shit. Decided to stay silent the whole time. Probably was a smart thing. I mean, I did too. Barbara just was the only one talking to it. And, Dad got really pissed because, I mean, we know where the property lines are. Mainly them. I just kind of listened to whatever the hell they told me to do. Not that bad. Yeah. And, sorry, my brother's blowing up the chat. A little bit distracting. Where was I? The cattle, like I said, were everywhere, though. I mean, you get used to it after a while. But, I mean, the good part about them is that the fact that they were antisocial. And, we went walking around. We saw the Painted Desert. And, Painted Desert wasn't that bad. It was less than I expected because I grew up with so many different interpretations of the Painted Desert through the cartoons I watched, and I've never actually seen pictures or anything of the Painted Desert itself. So going there for myself was actually really nice to experience. And I think just before we went to the Painted Desert, we went to the Petrified Forest, which also is less than I expected. I expected like an actual forest, but you pretty much just walk around a little desolate area of stone trees on the ground, which I guess is okay. I mean, speaking of petrified wood, though, as much as those things can sell for, while we were on the land, I would go off by myself every now and then, do some exploring. Well, what I didn't realize at first is that not only are there rocks and shit everywhere, there's petrified wood. And at first I found them in like little tiny pieces. And then the first bigger one I found was about this long, this thick, which Dad was excited about. And then I found this huge motherfucking chunk that looked like a just chunk of a log. I mean, you could probably make a good bit of money off of that. Bro, if we get famous, you'll have to get used to the constant chat. Live streams are mainly for Q&As. Things where you interact with chat. I know, Alex, I just haven't done this in a month. or 2, I guess, almost, maybe, I don't fucking know. So I gotta get used to it, yeah. You're right. But, at least I haven't ever done a live chat by myself, so it's kind of new. It's a whole different experience being live versus recording a video and then posting it. It's, people are watching you live, or at least with a 5-second delay, I guess, depending on network, your internet. It's a whole different experience. You can't just edit shit out. You're talking to them live, so I mean, you fuck up. You don't just edit it out. But I mean, it's okay. Back to Arizona. We spent 80% of our time in Arizona, which, I mean, I'm not complaining. It was really nice. I mean, everything's a little bit foggy right now. I might go and make coffee. Coffee sounds good, damn it. You coming with me? And so, one of the main things that we realized is that it was hot as shit. Of course, I mean, it is a desert and everything. I expected there to be heat, but I didn't expect to actually be walking through a fucking blow dryer the whole goddamn time. And that's something I had to get used to real quick. And of course, I mean, it's not as bad as it could have been. It could have been like a whole shit ton worse. But I mean, given upon like what we're doing and everything, it wasn't that bad. And of course it was a dry heat, so it's not as bad. I mean, if it was like full humidity, we would have been fucking cooking. I mean, agreeably, you could probably sit a steak on the hood of the truck we had, or, well, I mean, still have. You could probably set a steak on there and cook it, but you don't actually feel the full heat because there's not as much humidity as there is in Georgia. It could have been worse, I will admit. I mean, I think one of the worst things I experienced was my natural habit of wrapping myself in a blanket just for comfort. Even whether I'm hot or cold, I tend to do that anyway. And so there was one morning, it was like 2 in the morning, I woke up in a pool of fucking sweat because by natural, I wrap myself in a blanket whether I'm hot or cold. And so if it's baking ass heat and you wrap yourself in wool, well, not wool, but flannel. I don't know what the fuck it's made of. Maybe a flannel blanket, whatever. You're gonna cook, whether there's sun or not. There's just heat everywhere. It was horrible. I mean, I'm not complaining, it was a nice trip and all, but the heat was the one thing that got me. Most definitely. So, after that, we got back. After the desert and everything, we got back and we relaxed. We did a lot of cooking. We didn't go out much. I think it was the 3rd day we went to a Mexican restaurant. Los Camelos. I can't remember. It's been open for 40, 50 years now. I think they were on their 50th anniversary. They had to sign up. And they have really, really good food. It didn't, like, mess me up or anything. Not like most Mexican food does. But it was, I guess, authentic. There was one thing they didn't have that my dad expected for them to have. So that kind of sucked. for him, I just had tacos as always. And they gave me these damn refried beans. I can't stand refried beans. And it's not... I don't know how you would say most people... I don't hate them because of the taste or how they're cooked or anything, or because it's Mexican food. No, I just don't like the damn texture of mashed potato beans in my mouth. You know how weird that shit is? I can't do it. But, it was nice. What was another thing? There was... Ow. Hot coffee. There was this house. I guess it was an old ranch house or something. That, oh, that's hot. That was across from us. So, getting to see a really old ranch house, we explored this thing. Hold on. This old ranch house, my parents said they must have had a lot of money because they had paid for their very own power line to be put in from the power plant, which is like miles and miles away. I mean, while we were searching for our land, you could see it way off in the distance, but to actually have that much money to pay for a power line all the way out is admittedly impressive. I mean, I'm sure we don't have that much money. I don't know. I mean, it could be a lot less than I think it costs, but I expect like $6 a foot, if that. Well, if that low. So we explored this place, and the one thing we thought was going to be a huge goddamn issue was water. And when it came to the water, we didn't know what the hell we were going to do. Our land sits on one of the biggest, if not the biggest, I can't remember, water reserves in Arizona, of course. Reservoirs, whatever you call it. So, of course, we plot down a well. We have water. Well, this guy, way out there, not even way out there, we're here, 45 acres. He's maybe half a mile out. And, of course, we're going to connect to his power line. But, this dude, I don't know where they went. We don't know where they are. The place looked completely abandoned. The cattle things were all open. There was an old train cart with a generator and everything just sitting off next to the property. And the cattle were roaming free around and all of that. So we went in because nobody was there. I mean, if there were people there, we would be, okay, well, let's say hello. But, we went on this abandoned thing, and it's been abandoned for years and years, I'm sure. But, because the water pipe, I guess, after so many years of pressure buildup, had cracked during the winter, maybe. And all the water was spilling out. And where all this water had been spilling out for years, Mother Nature took into play. And there was just huge acre or two. Okay, maybe half an acre or half an acre. Definitely not 2 acres. I could be wrong. But there was just so much grass. It was beautiful. And then where the water had been pooling, there was a swamp-ish thing. There was huge reeds of grass and trash in it, and it all went to into this little underground metal tunnel-ish thing that you usually see like under a driveway for the water to go through. I'm pretty sure you know what the hell I'm talking about. But there was that, and the water would go through if after it got to a certain point, which I mean it was constantly flowing, so it was always at that certain point of flowing. There was, but there was mold and grass and fucking trees. That's the number one thing you don't see out there is trees. And my dad always said that if you see trees in the desert, it's because there's a lot of water. No fucking kidding. These trees, I don't know how the hell they got there. They weren't, I'm pretty sure they weren't planted. I think they grew by themselves. But there were actual trees, like oak trees, in this, around this huge area, and mainly surrounding the water. And as big as they were, that's how I'm fairly certain this thing's been abandoned for a long time. Some of the things we found out there was a cement house, and next to that was either a really old or a failure of a really original stone house, stone and adobe house. But to see all of this in a goddamn desert was mesmerizing to me. You could see this, a biology teacher or environmental science teacher would have a fucking field day with this shit. No kidding. The cattle were there, everything was so peaceful. And you could tell the difference of where the hell the water's been flowing because there was grass in this area, and then in this next area was just right back to desert. Because this other area of grass wasn't open. And I admit, there was a corpse or skeleton of a cow that had died there, which was pretty sad. Because it was kind of a small skeleton that I found. Really sad. But, yeah, that's life. But this thing was just, it was an oasis. And it was beautiful, admittedly. It was just nothing but beautiful. I cannot describe it as anything else other than beautiful. I'd never seen something like that. I mean, admittedly, I've never seen a fucking desert before. I've never been in a desert. I've never seen a desert for my own eyes, other than movies. And even then, it's not like the desert that's often depicted like this damn Sahara Desert, which is nothing but sand. I mean, they were little trees, but they only get so damn big. I can't remember what Barbie called them. Juniper trees, I think she called them. But it was nice. We didn't trust the water, of course. We weren't gonna go near it. And it's been there for so long that there was nothing but mosquitoes and wasps and bees that have been living here for so damn long. And of course, 1983, I think it was. I think it was 83 something, for fuck's sake, that this thing was built. There was an old stove there, and we're talking about, I think it was a 60s looking stove. Like, you know the really old style stoves you see in like Fallout, based around that kind of time period is what we saw. And that's how we kind of were able to predate it. There was running gas, and the damn power was still running. So, if anything, that's going to be one of the biggest assets of living on that land, is the fact that apparently you just don't have to pay a fucking power bill. They've just got that shit running. Because, I mean, we walked in, we didn't know what the fuck to expect. But we walked into the newer main house. I mean, they had satellite dishes and everything, so I guess someone's been there semi-recently. There was a little metal shack that could fit one person. So, I thought about going in it, but I didn't. I was kind of hoping for like a secret military base entrance of some fucking sort. But no, I mean, as soon as I got near it, there was wasps all around it. I couldn't go near that thing. Admittedly, I don't ever remember being stung in my entire life, so that's a good thing, but I didn't want to risk it. But yeah, I mean, we hit the light switch and everything. There was an old refrigerator in there. There was an old AC system that took up the whole height of the wall, and it was about 2 foot wide. That's how old this thing was. We found the bathroom. It's the same thing you expect to find in an abandoned house. Moldy, everything's tearing down, falling apart, and all that shit. We weren't gonna go in there. The doors were another thing. They weren't hardwood doors, but they looked like some of the original doors, like those you see. Those have a hollow core and have a kind of plywood around the edges of it, which is why they're so easy to break into. You just hit that son bitch once and you're pretty much through. And that's the same thing, except these were the older wooden style doors. Not like these. These are stylized and all that shit. But the ones in this house were the really dark wood with my brother knows what I'm talking about. I mean, he wasn't there. My brother didn't come on this vacation. He wanted to stay home. At least that's as far as I'm gonna say, because I don't feel like getting into that. I don't know how to describe the doors, but we used to live in an old house where the doors were really nice, dark wood finish, and it was hollow. Fuck this. I'm moving on before I take too damn long. I don't know how long I've been streaming. Let's get number over there. 28 minutes. 28 minutes I've been talking about this one piece of the trip, and this was only the first part. I'm spending 28 minutes talking about 3 days. Which, I mean, I guess as long as I'm not talking 3 days about 3 days, I guess I'm good. And so, after that, we hit Sedona, I think. I'm not going in order because I don't remember anything in order. Sedona. I'm gonna say we went to Sedona first because not first, but second. We stayed at this hotel motel thing. I don't know. The owner doesn't even live there. He only opens it up. The place is only open in the summers because that's when people come and that's when he makes the most money. But the dude lives in Kansas, so I just thought that was kind of funny. For most of the year, 10 months. I think 10 months out of the year, I think you could say, he lives in Kansas. And then for the 2 months of summer, he opens up his motel, he lives there. He's a really nice guy. He's I think he's got a degree or something in civil engineering and nursing of some sort. I can't remember, but he was a really nice guy. There was a pool there was a jacuzzi, a public grill you could use that is pretty sad to see had to be chained down or else it would have been stolen. That's life these days in society. Shit gets stolen if you don't lock it down. It's pretty sad. But we stayed there 2 days. I think it was 2 days. And we did a lot of hiking. I was climbing up this damn mountain. They got way left behind. I didn't think to stop. I mean, I did every now and then, but they just weren't behind me, so I just kept going. I left a trail for them. Whenever there was like a bare rock area, I had this mixture of Kool-Aid and Gatorade in my Camelback. And given the amount of glucose and the sticky, excuse me, substance of it, I would take my thing and spray it on a giant rock, and then cover it in sand, and so that sand would get stuck to the rock and make an arrow, so that they knew where to go. That's just what I do. Of course, they kept calling me a Ranger Adrian or something like that because of how good I am and how I like to help people and how good I am at directions and maps and climbing rocks and all that. I don't know. Stuff like that. I'm really good at. Where was I? Sedona. Really nice place. It really had like a Cars feel to it. That it really felt like an isolated town in the middle of nowhere. And it really wasn't a town. I don't know how to scale towns and cities and shit like that. But, I guess you could call it a town. A big town. Not a metropolis. A small city, how about that? The amount of population there and houses and all that to the ratio of actual city places, it was, I guess you could consider it a small town. Something along the lines of that. I don't fucking know. That's pretty much the highlight of Sedona. We wanted to do this natural water slide thing that they were talking about. And it's like the rocks are so smooth they made it into a water slider. But we were going to, and the water was considered what do you call it? Unsafe. I'll leave it at that. It wasn't safe due to high metallic or lead or chemicals. I don't fucking know. I didn't pay attention to that shit. I mean, we drove by it and it was nice to see all the kids playing in the water and all that, but good for them. We didn't want to risk anything or sickness or anything. We just didn't. Excuse me. But that's pretty much it for Sedona. I think one of the things that damn near killed me was the fucking Grand Canyon. As much hiking and walking and climbing, rock climbing as we did, nothing can prepare you for the fucking Grand Canyon at all. We camped at this actual Grand Canyon campground. Can't remember what it was called, like I don't know. But it wasn't that bad. I was a trooper. I mean, my parents were way behind me. And I think we did the Grand Canyon on my birthday. My 18th birthday, I think, is when we actually did the Grand Canyon for itself. And then, we did 4 miles of the Grand Canyon, which is 2 miles down and 2 miles back up. Going back up that son of a bitch was hard as hell. Yeah. But I had a really good time. And oh my god, there was this restaurant. Don't ask me what the hell it was called. I don't fucking know. My parents would. It was a really nice restaurant. I mean, you went in. I mean, not everybody was dressed nice because it was on the side of the damn Grand Canyon, so you can expect people to come in with hiking clothes and civilian clothes, I guess you could just say. But the waiters and staff and everything was just so fucking beautiful. I didn't know how to act. I mean, it had the feel. And it had the feel of like a really nice restaurant that you would go to in a tuxedo and shit like that. But at the same time, you could walk in there with your regular clothes, and it was, the more you paid attention to detail, the more you realize it isn't as nice as you thought at the first. You first walk in there, you're like, holy shit, this is nice. And then you pay attention to detail, and you start to really realize it's just makeshift. The walls and bathroom and everything were makeshift. It wasn't as nice as you first thought. Our waiter was from Hawaii. He was nice. We gave him a big tip. He did really, really nice. The one thing that blew me away was their food. I had coffee and water and steak. And potatoes. And asparagus. But I didn't eat asparagus. I can't stand asparagus. I fucking hate it. But besides the point, it was a really, really, really great place. And it blew my fucking mind. Yeah. Like I said, the more you pay attention to detail, the more you realize it's kind of shitty. But it's all about the food there. And I'm gonna kind of touch on how important that is when I start getting into how Texas was. The food is what mattered the most. The waiters were nice and elegant and appropriate, and manners were off the fucking charts. In a good way. I mean, I think his name was Mark. He had the most calm and proper voice I had ever heard. I felt like I needed to wear a damn tuxedo or something there the whole time. He was calm. But he wasn't snobby. He wore a nice outfit, and he catered to your needs because that was his job, and he really wanted the tip. I mean, of course, he wanted the tip, but that's not the thing. Whether he wanted it or not, or whether he was working his ass off for the tip or not, isn't the point. It's the way he came across. Which was elegant and proper, but not snobby, but funny at the same time. This man could probably have a cup of coffee on his head, not even spill it while fully fucking running. That's how proper he felt. But he could laugh with you, but also cater to your needs the way he needed to. I don't know where the hell I'm going with this. It was a really nice restaurant, proper, blah, 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 blah. 2 miles down, 2 miles back up was hell on my knees and my back, but I pulled through a lot better than I thought I would. Not gonna lie. Even my parents were impressed because I'm a lazy son of a bitch. Yeah. I'm lazy as hell, but when I get moving, I get moving. And I don't, it's hard to stop me when I get moving. I may slow down a little bit to take a breath, but I keep on trucking. I've always been a fighter. So that was Grand Canyon. We had restrooms at the campground, and there was, everywhere you went at the Grand Canyon or near the Grand Canyon, you could bike to. Which we did. We biked to the damn grocery store. You could walk even if you wanted to, which we did a lot of walking. I mean, of course, to get to the Grand Canyon and everything, we rode a bus because, well, we needed to save our energy for being able to hike up and down that son of a bitch. But it was, Grand Canyon was nice and it was worth it, honestly, I can say. I know we went other places in Arizona, but I can't remember them. I guess my coffee hasn't kicked in enough. I don't know. My mind is drawing a blank, sadly. It wasn't that bad at all. I can honestly say I loved the entire trip. Texas was another thing. Of course, we stopped in Phoenix. Phoenix, Arizona was great. It was one of the hotter places I had ever been for the time. But besides that, it was great. We spent like a day there, I think. If that. I think we actually ate there and then kept on trucking. The longest time we spent was the longest place we stayed was Texas. And we stayed there for 6 days. Yeah. We also hit Tucson, Arizona, which was really nice. We did a lot of hiking there too, I think, if I can remember correctly. That's when our damn tent broke and we had to get a new one. We went to, I don't know where the hell we went, but we came back later that day, and our tent, I mean, it collapsed a lot. We weren't happy about that. But when we got back, not only had it collapsed, we found out that the damn poles had broken. Our fiberglass poles had all snapped. For the most part, all of them snapped. And it was, that fucking sucked. So we had to get a new one. And the new one we got was a foldable one. You didn't have to do any kind of work at all. It folded out from the center, and then it stood up like this, and then you could click the buttons on the side and pull it out and extend them, and it would stand about six foot tall. Six and a half foot. So it was pretty nice. It really reduces the workload of having to set up a tent. And I'm not saying that I hate having to set up a tent. I'm just saying it can be stressful sometimes if you haven't done it in a while, or per se you're new to camping at all. Setting up a tent can be one of the more stressful things you can do, because instruction manuals aren't always exact. It's 50% reading, 50% guessing, pretty much. It can suck. But the new one we got, it was a fucking trooper. It did 6 days in Texas, and it did the last few days in Tucson. It was a trooper. One of the mornings we woke up, we were right near where they stored the water in the campground. On the campground is where they stored they had these giant water bins, about 4 of them, and I guess one of the things had busted, and the water was just spewing out all across and in front of our thing. We were lucky because our tent area was raised above the ground, but I don't remember that being there. That's weird. But yeah, the water was spewing everywhere. And for a water conservation campground, like a campground completely based on conserving water wherever they can and power, it was a pretty bad loss. And I'm pretty sure they lost a lot of money. Because I'm pretty sure their water bill at that point went way the fuck up. Because it was enough to empty one or two of those things, because not only had it been going all night, it had been going all day too. That thing was going until we left. So that kind of sucks. And I can't remember if that's the reason we left Tucson or not. It's because there was water surrounding us, or if it was just that the same day we were leaving anyway. I kind of wonder if we looked suspicious to the campground, like, oh shit, your thing broke, bye. But don't know. One of the funnier things there is we had ran into a Air Force engineer or something. He was high up in the ranks, and I think he was high up, but I don't know. One of the things we hated about that campground was their Wi-Fi and internet. It was all one giant shared network. There wasn't like a internet connection here, internet connection there. It was multiple connections on the same exact network. There were no split networks to conserve bandwidth. It was all one thing. And with all these people hooking up their damn tower computers and Xboxes and PlayStations, it really killed the Wi-Fi for the campers and the people and the other things. And it was so bad that even if you connected to Ethernet in their workroom, it was still slow as shit, and it pissed me off, because I'm very tech oriented, and that's one way to piss me off. There's only two ways to piss me off: fuck with the internet, and spill my coffee. Of course, spilling or messing up my coffee is the number one way to fuck me over, and it's also another one way to get your ass beat. I flipped shit on a lot of people that have messed up or spilled my coffee, including last year at school. That was one of the reasons I got an ISS, is I flipped my shit on somebody that spilled my coffee, so I got put in ISS. That was... You don't fuck with my coffee. But, the Wi-Fi really killed me. And of course, it wasn't bad. And later that night, Dad was taking a shower. I was waiting for him to get out of the shower, because of course it was a public shower, and the dude that was at the pool with us, the military guy, he walked in there, and me and him were joking around. He was joking about him not wanting me to hack into his porn, and I'm, of course, me being able to joke around with a active duty military guy about being a hacker and stuff. A lot of my friends said shows that I have a lot of balls. And of course it does. I mean, hacking is a serious issue. So it shows I got a lot of balls to be able to laugh around with an active duty military guy about being a hacker, of course. So we left Tucson after the whole water thing. I am curious as to if we seemed suspicious at all, given the fact that it broke the day we left. But after that, we stopped in Phoenix, and then we went into Texas. San Antonio, Texas was we got there either late at night or very early in the morning. And that was my very first time realizing how bad society can be. Even just walking into that gas station and seeing all the people out there, I can honestly say I was kind of scared for my life. Because white people there are a minority, and me walking in with my ring and pulling out my phone and stuff, I didn't want them to get suspicious or anything, thinking that we had a lot of money, and I didn't want to get robbed or anything, and I actually feared for my life that night. I was completely scared just being at a damn gas station. I didn't. It's very bad, I can honestly say. you don't look anybody in the eye there at all if you're the minority, because that you could get killed. San Antonio, we learned, is very, very dangerous right now, especially because all of the shootings in Texas and everything, everybody is on edge. And so being white as the minority in general, and then being white and a minority at the time of and around shootings, I honestly feared for my life. I didn't want to risk anything. I didn't look anybody in the eye. Just being on the bus, my parents got on to me immediately. I can't remember if it was in New Orleans. I think it was in New Orleans, but they still had the same concept for getting on to me. Even in Texas, we got off the bus, and as soon as we were alone, they asked me, do I want to get my ass beat? And they weren't threatening me or anything. They were being honest. It's because I was on edge about being a minority and people around me. I had this, I guess, mean look on my face, and I had my arms crossed, and I seemed very disturbed where I was. And they were being honest, because the way I was acting and the way I gave, the perception I gave off was that I didn't want to be in that area, and that I felt above everybody, I guess, and that is the number one way I could have gotten my ass beat in Texas and or New Orleans. Everybody was on edge, so it was hard for me. But I mean, I'm not saying I didn't have fun. I had fun, but there were times I did fear for my life on this vacation, and it gave me more of a vision on how life is right now. I didn't realize how good I have it right now. I got to see, and it wasn't just black people, it was white people, and it's everybody there. A lot of them are on the streets. A lot of them are drug addicts, alcoholics. A lot of them not healthy lifestyles. And it really gave me insight on how the world is right now, outside of my house and outside of my little town of McDonough. It's a very scary world right now. And to know that it's even way worse than where I was in other parts of the world, it's a very scary world right now. And I didn't like being there a lot. San Antonio, we found out, on certain parts, we ran into a sheriff. And this is more of an insight of how bad it is right now. We were at a Dairy Queen, and we ran into a sheriff in broad daylight. And of course, my dad being a firefighter, he loves to chat. Not like firefighters like to chat, but when they run into a police officer, or at least Dad likes to chat with other firefighters and policemen. Hell if I know why, but kudos to him. But the sheriff was telling us about, not sheriff, he was a deputy, I think, actually. But he was telling Dad about how there's a lot of human trafficking and drug trafficking in certain areas. And right now, he had just spent $600 for new body armor that he didn't need to have before, but due to the rise in activity and stuff in Texas, especially the shootings, he had to buy new body armor, and that deputy fears for his life on the job every day. And so hearing this sheriff talk about how Texas, or at least certain parts of Texas, is right now, or even San Antonio, it was enough to make me fear for my life, and to know that if I even mess up a little bit in the wrong part of town, I'd be fucked. And there's nothing they could do. I mean, if I didn't watch my back in certain areas, there's a very good chance that I could be kidnapped and killed or put into drug or human trafficking. And it's very scary that that's the way society is right now in certain parts. And it really hits you. But besides that, I had a lot of fun in San Antonio. We were at a KOA campground for 6 days. It was a fenced-in area. It was really nice. Everybody there was friendly. Campers are always friendly. It's really funny. I guess it's because you have something in common. You like to get out and camp. But yeah, it was a different experience for me, definitely. We got to visit my sister and big brother and nephew, so that was nice to see them. Hanging out with Nikki was cool. It was fun. We went to this cavern. I don't know what you would call it, but it's like an underground thing. We went underground and explored these caves, and they really need to manage that shit better, because these assholes had babies and senior citizens and stuff held up in a goddamn line in a hot ass fucking cave at 99% humidity for long periods of time. And that shit got hot. I mean, any of these kids could have had a heat stroke, or even the senior citizens could have had a heat stroke. And you know why they were held up is because these assholes up here were stopping the entire line of people to take fucking pictures. And it's not smart. People are worried about people leaving kids in cars and having heat strokes and shit. They were having them fucking held up in the line underground where nobody can get to them, crying because it's so fucking hot. And they're just sitting there. Oh, do you want to take a picture? Do you want to take a picture? Do you want to take a picture? It's bullshit. They need to keep the line fucking moving. If you want a picture, go ahead, stop over here. Let the line keep moving. Even me, after being in a desert for so damn long, and being able to get to the use, I was sweating my ass off down there. I mean, at least, if you're gonna do it, I would say at least have it vented and everything. Run AC through the bitch, because that shit was hot. It was stupid. They really need to work on that. And I mean, the place has been open for a long time, but that is the number one thing that pissed me off there. It's that they don't know how the hell to run a goddamn cave. It was bullshit. But besides that, it was great. It was fun. We spent a good bit of time in the pool, and we saw a lot of different things in San Antonio. I had a fun time. After that, we stopped in Louisiana, New Orleans. And we ran across 2 film sets. One for NCIS New Orleans, and another one for the new Jack Reacher movie taking place in New Orleans or something like that. So that was cool. New Orleans was great. I had always wanted to go. The jazz, it was cool. I'm not gonna lie though, New Orleans right now, not a safe place in certain areas. Broad daylight, walking through the goddamn city. People were around this police car on the street that had its fucking windshield smashed in. that's the world is very violent right now, no matter where the hell you are. I'm lucky where I am. Little city of McDonough. It's a nice place. And I don't have to deal with a lot of shit from the outside world, and I'm happy about that. But getting out into the real world showed me a lot about how lucky I am to be where I am right now. And my brother living where he lives has a lot of gang stuff. I mean, hell, my brother could have died this one night because they were sleeping in their apartment one night, and their apartment was a part of like a set of 4, and my brother experienced a drive-by shooting. And had my brother been any closer towards the wall, he could have died. And that's just how violent the world is right now. No matter where you are, you can fear for your life. It's the world just isn't safe. But yeah, vacation was fun. Had a nice place. Not a nice place, a nice time. Besides that, I've been home. Besides that, I've been home for a while. And me and my brother just have recently revived our startup business, Cognitech team. We've seen rapid expansion. Our team members have been growing as well. We have 2 19-year-olds, Ruben and Peyton. We have 27 or 30-year-old, somewhere around that. I can't remember. I think he's 27. His name's Corey, and he's a professional. Well, I wouldn't say professional. I don't think he is. He's a game developer, and he knows a lot of coding and stuff. And besides that, we have I have 2 students on the team right now. William Thayer, and I can't remember the other guy's name. Right now he changed his name to Ed Flanders on the group on Slack, so I can't remember his name at all. Michael is his name, that's it. Michael Matt Moon Mahaman. I don't fucking know. It's a really weird last name. I don't know. It's not that it's weird. It's just I don't know how to pronounce it. Thanks to Ruben, we've expanded our business into Portugal. Actually, besides that, I've made 2 business contracts with 2 hosting companies, so we're gonna make revenue off of that now. So they do the hosting for us. We make websites and templates for you, and if you want, you can follow the links on our website and pay for either free or premium and gold hosting, and we make revenue off of that. Even if you sign up for the free one, we make $5 for every successful thingy. It's cool. Besides that, we make ad revenue thanks to Google AdSense, and we're working on making a game engine and games soon. So that's cool. We're becoming global again. It's been a few years. We've been sitting silent for a long time after I lost a good friend due to the ISIS bombings. He was a good friend and great asset. He was helpful. He was a server guy. He was a business guy. He did a lot of work with us, and losing him to ISIS, I lost my shit and fired everybody and left Cognitech dormant for 2 years. One and a half to 2 years, yeah, is how long I've left it dormant. So it's good to be back in business. I know I don't seem like a professional guy, but I've been running Cognitech for 5 years now. Um, we do a lot of low life stuff, and it's just good to be back in business. Um, it's good to be back, admittedly. We're getting a lot of projects done. We have a new website. We have an official URL now, cognitechteam.com. Feel free to check it out. I might leave a description in the. I might leave a link in the description of this video. I'm not completely sure yet. It's great to be back. Honestly, it. I haven't. I haven't done programming and web development since we lost Volcano, and it's good to be back and back in business. And I'm putting my foot down. I gotta make straight A's in school this year. I'm thinking about joining Marines, paid for college and stuff like that. It's gonna be great. But just being back and being back in Cognitech is great. Having it up, and we're at rapid expansion. People, here's the thing. One of our newer members and really good friend of mine, as well as Nathan, who is also a member of Cognitech, taught me a valuable lesson. And it's that despite everybody saying that I am nothing and will never get anywhere in life, they make a valid point. Well, that no matter what everybody says, if I meant nothing, I wouldn't have grown men working for me and with me on this team. I'm a very persuasive, manipulative bastard, I admit, but they are volunteering and helping the team become more than just an idea. They have a lot of beliefs and what do you call it? Confidence that we can get global again. And so I can't wait. I'm happy my brother's putting a lot more effort in this time than he did last time. He can't say shit because he knows he didn't put full effort last time. But it's good to be back. We're doing a lot more professional things. Peyton is our business guy. He can he handles a lot of our stuff. He doesn't handle a lot of our stuff. He's how do you say? Asset. I'll just leave it at asset. I go to him whenever I need certain decisions made. Been looking into a lot of legal stuff, and technically I don't need a business license unless I'm selling like firearms or drugs and shit like that. But so right now we're professional and we're official until we set up in California, and then I'm gonna need a business license, which is gonna suck. Me and Nathan are probably gonna be going into business school together. I'm getting certified as a web developer this year, and everything's going great. It's good to be back in business, and I'm happy to be back as the CEO and owner of Cognitech Team. It's good to be back. Got my bank verified. We're making money again. I don't think I've been happier. I have these times where I feel down and everything, but that's just because my family runs bipolar shit runs in my family. So it's not easy for me to control how I feel about myself, but I have my ups and I have my downs, but thanks to the team believing in me and having a team to actually back me this time, I fully believe in myself to become global again. And we've expanded into Portugal. I really hope to expand into Italy again, in memory of Volcano. That. Anyway, it's good to be back. So, that's my long summer recap. I've been broadcasting for an hour, which is my usual. So this is both a rant and summer recap, as well as a little bit of a reintroduction to Cognitech Team, I guess. I'll make another video about what the hell Cognitech Team is. Anyway, I'm Adrian Roach, and this was